Deep in the rainforests of Peru and Brazil, a male Emperor Tamarin is doing something a male mammal almost never does. He's giving birth, or close to it. He's the one cleaning the newborn, the one carrying it across the branches, the one who won't sleep alone for the next 3 months. The mother watches from a few feet away. She'll feed the baby when it's hungry. That's it. And in this troop of about 8 tamarins, she's the only female who is biologically allowed to be a mother at all. The other females in the group? Their bodies have been chemically shut down by her. The Emperor Tamarin gets its name from a German emperor, Wilhelm II. The man had an enormous, drooping white mustache, and so does this monkey. Long white whiskers that hang down past its chin and bob when it moves through the trees. It weighs about as much as a can of soup, less than a pound. It lives in the southwest corner of the Amazon, pockets of rainforest in Peru, Brazil, and the very northern tip of Bolivia, where the canopy is thick and the floor is permanently dim. Tamarins almost never come down. They live their entire lives 40 to 100 feet in the air, hopping between branches, foraging for fruit, sap, insects, and the occasional small lizard. They live in groups of about 4 to 15. The average troop has 8, and every troop is built around one female, the breeding female, the matriarch. Our story starts with hers. After a 5-month pregnancy, she gives birth high in the canopy, usually to twins. 2 newborns, each barely the size of a strawberry, eyes still closed, completely helpless. Within minutes, she does something that confuses every researcher who watches it for the first time. She hands the babies over, and then she walks away. The first one to step in is the father. He moves along the branch, picks up one of the newborns in his small black hands, and presses it against his back. The baby grabs on instinctively. Tamarin newborns are born with a grip strong enough to support their entire body weight from the moment they're born, which is useful because they're about to spend the next 2 months attached to someone who is not their mother. A second male moves in for the other twin. This one is the older brother. He was born in this same troop a 1.5 years ago, and now he's helping raise his own siblings. A third male, an uncle, is already nearby, ready to take over when the brother gets tired. This is the system. The Emperor Tamarin runs what biologists call cooperative polyandry, a breeding structure where multiple males in the troop share the work of raising a single female's offspring. The fathers carry, the brothers carry, the uncles carry, the cousins carry. They pass the babies between each other in shifts, the way humans pass a sleeping infant between relatives at a holiday dinner. The mother does almost none of it. Studies on captive Emperor Tamarins have clocked the breeding female carrying her own infants for less than 10% of the time. The males do the rest. Every climb, every leap between branches, every nap, every defense against a hawk overhead, the babies are riding on a male's back. She shows up to nurse 2, sometimes 3 times a day for about 10 minutes. Then she hands them back. And the males are on duty again until the next feeding. To understand why the males do all the work, you have to understand who the mother actually is. She isn't just a parent. She's the only female in the troop allowed to be one. In an Emperor Tamarin troop of 8, there might be 3 or 4 adult females. All of them are physically capable of breeding. None of them do. Year after year, they live alongside the dominant female, they forage with her, they sleep next to her, and their reproductive systems remain shut off. She's the reason. The dominant female releases pheromones, scent chemicals, that suppress the ovulation of every other adult female nearby. They literally cannot get pregnant while she's around. Their bodies stop producing the hormones required to release an egg. Researchers studying captive marmosets and tamarins discovered this in the 1980s when they noticed that subordinate females housed with a breeder simply stopped cycling. Move them to a separate enclosure, away from the dominant female's scent, and within weeks, their fertility returns. In Emperor Tamarins, the lockdown is reinforced by behavior. The matriarch is aggressive towards subordinate females who get too close to the males. She blocks them from grooming, She interrupts their interactions. The chemistry handles the biology, but the social pressure handles everything else. This is why the males raise the babies. There is only one mother in the entire troop, and she is producing the next generation at a brutal pace, twins, almost every year, sometimes twice a year. Her body has one job, gestation and nursing. The males have the other job, everything else. The subordinate females stay in the troop, suppressed and childless, helping forage, helping watch for predators, but never reproducing. It's one of the most extreme reproductive systems in the entire mammal world. And the babies riding on those male backs? They're the only babies the troop will ever have. For the first 2 weeks of life, our twins barely move. They cling to whoever is carrying them, faces pressed into fur, eyes closed for most of the day. They open them in flashes, blink at the green canopy, and shut them again. The males adjust. When one gets tired, he sidles up to another, and the baby is gently transferred from one back to another without ever touching the branch. By week 3, the babies start to lift their heads. They watch. The world they're seeing is 40 feet up, all moving leaves, dappled light, and the silhouettes of toucans and macaws crossing overhead. Below them, jaguars and ocelots prowl the forest floor, but the tamarins almost never go down. The threats up here are different. Hawks, eagles, snakes hidden in the foliage. When a predator is spotted, the troop erupts into high-pitched alarm calls and scatters, and whichever male is carrying the babies takes off through the branches, with them strapped to his back. By month 2, the twins start to wriggle off. They take their first short trips on their own, never more than a foot or two from a male. They climb back up when they get scared. They fall sometimes, and an adult catches them or scoops them up off a lower branch. Tamarin learning is constant catch and release. By month 3, they're eating solid food. Older troop members hand them pieces of fruit, dripping sap from a tree wound, the occasional grasshopper. The brothers, the same ones who carried them, now teach them how to forage, how to find the right trees, how to read the calls of the troop, how to recognize the scent of a predator before it appears. By month 6, they look like miniature adults. The white mustache is starting to come in. They move on their own now, leap on their own, eat on their own. They still sleep huddled with the troop at night, a pile of warm fur in a hollow tree. But during the day, they're mostly independent. The helpless newborn is gone. A juvenile tamarin has taken its place. What happens next is the part most people don't expect. The juvenile doesn't leave. Not for a long time. Emperor tamarins are one of the few primates that practice extended kin care, where adult offspring stay in the natal troop and help raise their younger siblings instead of striking out on their own. Our juvenile, now around a year old, watches the next set of twins get born, and then he picks them up. He carries them on his own back. He leaps with them. He defends them. He does for his younger siblings exactly what his older brother did for him. This is how the system perpetuates itself. Every male in the troop learns parenting by doing it, years before he might ever father a baby of his own. By the time he's 2 years old, he's already raised multiple sets of his siblings. He knows how to read an infant's grip, how to balance a leap with extra weight on his back, how to respond to a baby's distress call. The Emperor Tamarin doesn't have parenting instinct in the way we usually imagine it. It has parenting training. Most males will spend their whole lives in this troop. Some will eventually leave, drift through the forest looking for a new group, and try to join one. If they're accepted, they become helpers in their new troop too, working their way up over years, proving they can carry, defend, forage, and follow. Females are the rarer dispersers, and when they do leave, they're usually leaving because the matriarch finally died and there's a vacant breeding slot somewhere in the forest, because that's the only way a female ever becomes a mother. She has to wait for a queen to die, or she has to find a troop without one, or she has to be the daughter of a queen and inherit the role when her mother is gone. For the males, the path is slower and quieter. You raise your siblings, you raise your siblings' siblings, you earn your place, and eventually, if you survive long enough, the troop becomes yours. Emperor Tamarins live around 10 years in the wild, 15 if they're lucky. The troop's leadership doesn't pass through fights or dramatic battles the way it does in chimpanzees or gorillas. It passes through time. The older animals die, the younger ones move up. The males who have been carrying babies their entire lives become the experienced ones, the ones the troop follows when it's time to find a new feeding tree or move to a safer sleeping site. By his 6th or 7th year, our Tamarin, the one who started this story as a strawberry-sized newborn clinging to his father's back, has become one of the senior males. He's raised dozens of his siblings. He knows every branch in the troop's territory. He knows which fruiting trees ripen in which months. He knows the calls of every predator in this part of the canopy. When the troop moves, he's often the one who moves first, and the others follow. He may breed. In some troops, multiple males mate with the dominant female, and any of them could be the father of any given litter. Genetic studies on related callitrichid species suggest the offspring inside a single set of twins can have different fathers. The system doesn't really care. The babies belong to the troop. Everyone raises them. If our Tamarin lives long enough, he'll watch the matriarch he was born under die. He'll watch a new female take her place, sometimes a daughter, sometimes a newcomer, who arrived years ago and waited her turn. The cycle restarts. New twins are born. New fathers and brothers and uncles step in. New babies cling to new backs. A small primate with a German emperor's mustache, hidden in the western Amazon, quietly running one of the strangest and most cooperative parenting systems on Earth. And almost nobody knows it exists. The Emperor Tamarin isn't endangered yet, but its rainforest is shrinking. Every year, more of the western Amazon gets cut for cattle pasture and soy fields, and the canopy these Tamarins have lived in for millions of years gets a little smaller. The fathers keep carrying, the mothers keep producing twins, the troops keep training the next generation. For now. If stories like this one are the kind of thing you want more of, subscribe. There's a whole world of animals running social systems weirder than anything we've invented, and we're working through them, one species at a time.